Well, we gave you the big picture going into that. They beat the Chiefs and looked the best they have all year.
All
This is
season,
Buffalo last week. In Miami, but again, I gave that number twice. 14-1 last 15. It doesn't mean you stamp it and win, but there's no way the Bills expected to show up and look like this. But we'll give Miami credit in a moment. What do we see there?
Well, Boom, you always say that's why they play the games. And today, the Miami's defense finally showed up. 3 sacks, 3 turnovers, and they really took away everything that they wanted to do. They targeted the receivers. They made sure the receivers didn't do anything. And as usual with this Bills offense, if you take away James Cook in the run game and you put everything on Josh Allen's back, and he's not perfect, they can't move the football. They struggle getting offense when you force Josh Allen to do it all. Achane was outstanding running the football. The Buffalo Bills every now and then have a problem on their defense. They give up run yardage on their defense. Achane 175 yards rushing today. So when you put all that together, you're on the road. The anatomy of an upset is you get up on a team early and then you just make sure that they continue to make mistake after mistake. And that's what the Dolphins did. Kudos to them. They fired their GM. The head coach is on the hot seat, and they didn't give up today.
No, and here's the thing with Buffalo. So we've seen that against Atlanta a couple weeks ago. I mean, it's going to happen here and there. But they're not forceful. And when they don't have a lead, they're not as forceful on run defense for sure. You mentioned they fired the GM. I mean, is that the problem? That we're not saying it is. They play like this. So Miami's defense, they're professionals too. They get paid, like you like to say.
Without a doubt. And anytime your defense can set the tone, and then offensively, Tua, even though he threw 2 interceptions, he got Waddle involved. They pushed the football down the field. So this was a total team effort by the Dolphins.
Look, so now the New England Patriots have won 7 straight. Remember, they won at Buffalo, and they haven't lost since. I mean, they won a couple games before that. But what did they do? They put a win like that in their pocket, and they have not looked back. The Patriots are a game and a half up on the Bills in the standings, who they beat, as we pointed out. And, my God, big play after big play. The stage, again, was not too big for – they have some veterans, but they got a lot of young players led by their second-year quarterback.
The young guys, Drake May, Travion Henderson, they showed up and made plays. You know, the sign of a good team, Boom, they don't beat themselves. They're so well coached. We were watching this game, and we said every time the Bucs tried to make a play, there were 2 or 3 Patriots sitting there waiting. And that's the sign of good coaching, understanding what the other team is trying to do. You got some big plays, and defensively, they are so good. Number one team in football against the run. So we are going to stake our claim stopping the run. And then we're going to get after your quarterback. They play so well together, and they're so well coached based on Mike Vrabel. Even on the last touchdown of the game, Travion Henderson.
That was amazing.
Running down the sideline.
Amazing.
Look to the coach. Should I score or should I not? The details. Mike Vrabel dots the I's and crosses the team. And this was one of the better wins we've seen in the National Football League.
Well, here's the thing. Tucker had 53 yards rushing Tampa. First guy over 50 this year.
Wow.
The whole season. 10 games allowed by the New England Patriots. Tampa thought that their defense would confuse, maybe not every play, Drake May, because Todd Bowles, we know what he calls. He dials up different things. He wasn't phased at all. And here's what you and I noticed. Even plays that the Bucs completed, maybe a 6 or 8 yard play, whatever. There's like 6 Patriots right around the ball.
Sitting there waiting.
Nobody's out of place.
And you know what, Boom? It's amazing when you look at Tampa. Coming off a bye week, you got New England. They got to go to Buffalo. They got L.A. at the Rams. Schedule's going to get a lot tougher. So it was amazing. I thought they would come off and be a little bit better.
Let me look real quick, though, schedule, New England. All right, put that up real quick. We were talking about what they have, and they will play Baltimore. By the time they play them later, they will have a winning record, and they play the Bills. But look at the rest. Nothing guarantees a win, as we saw today. Jets, Bengals, Giants, bye. Late bye. Bills, Ravens, Jets, Dolphins. They can pile up 12, 13. I mean, it's possible. Let's not assume a thing, and that team does not get ahead of itself. We said it on the show repeatedly. It is apparent that the year of the running back is not changing just the names. It was Saquon and Derrick Henry last year. He's over 1,100 yards already, Jonathan Taylor. And when you have a back like that, anything's possible, as the Colts are 8-2.
Well, not only a back like that, but you have an offensive line, because he's rushed for 1,100 yards, but this offensive line, led by the best guard in football, Quentin Nelson, has been outstanding. But it just gives you something you can count on. On a day where the quarterback gets sacked 7 times, Daniel Jones turned the ball over a couple times, he didn't quite play the way he's played Indiana Jones like all season.
Right.
They can always go to the thing they can count on the most, and that's Jonathan Taylor. rushing the football, boom, controlling the line of scrimmage. They are a team that it's portable. They have one thing that they can take a lot of places, and it was good to see them when Jones got in trouble. They leaned on Jonathan Taylor, and right now, boom, he's probably the leading candidate for the most valuable player. He's playing as consistent as anybody from game one to where we are now.
One other thing in this, the Colts had 3 big returns on punts and kicks. That's to their credit, little things that spell 8-2. And Atlanta played really well. Little things, you give up that, and you're 3-5. Like, that was a big part of the game as well.
It's the hidden yardage, the yardage we don't see in the box score, and they did that in special teams.
The Ravens were 1-5. We saw them, they're now 4-5, but they'd be the first to tell you we're not at 500 yet. However, the Baltimore Ravens in these last 4 games, even the one they lost to the Rams, I think they averaged giving up 15 points a game, something like that in the last 4 games. They're not as dominant as they once were at the very front, but their back seven, Roquan Smith, Hamilton moving up. We've talked about the trade with Gilman, and Lamar is back. They know they have no margin for error, so they're going to be on it every week. They look the part.
Objects in the mirror, the rearview mirror, are closer than they appear.
I've read that.
I've read it before, and they're talking about the Ravens. The defense is playing better. The defense is creating turnovers, giving the offense, even though the offense wasn't perfect, they're getting healthier. You saw Bateman start to make plays, boom. Lamar, Henry, the team rushed for 157 yards. They're getting back to a physical standpoint. But the biggest issue that was ailing this team throughout the first part of the season was their defense, and their defense is starting to turn the corner. You mentioned the trade. They're turning the ball over. It's good to see the Ravens look like a team we thought they were going to be. They're not there yet, but you can start to see while a lot of sports bettors had them as the favorite to win the North.
They haven't played Pittsburgh yet. Their next 3 games at Cleveland, Jets at home, Cincy at home. Again, assume nothing. But they're looking to keep moving, all right? The Rams, 4 more touchdowns from Stafford. That gives him 25 this season. And so the Rams are 7-2. They roll the Niners 42-26. Niners' first loss in the division. And everybody plays the other team next week. Let's talk the NFC West. Because next week it's Seattle against the Rams for the first time this year. But we're not moving ahead. We're moving back. First, from what we see from the Rams. Matthew Stafford, and this is real, they were worried about him. He wasn't really sure the back. There wasn't a smoke screen. He could be MVP of the league. Him or Taylor.
He could be, boom. And now he has 2 legitimate weapons on the outside, in Devontae Adams and Puka Nacua. They can run the football. You have one of the best play callers in our league in Sean McVay. And when you put all that together and you put it in the pot, they can score, okay? The key will be their young defense. I think it's the best young front 7 in football. I'm concerned about the corners. They have to make sure that they can cover on the outside. But when you have Stafford, McVay, Adams, Williams, Nacua, you can put up points against anybody in the National Football League.
You know what they've also done? They've on defense have become much. I don't want to say a team with Aaron Donald wasn't physical. That would be stupid. But over the last 2 or 3 years, they are more physical and authoritative on the ball. All
Bigger,
3 levels.
Younger, and more physical. To your point,
and give San Francisco credit too. They're trying. Remember, they're 3-1 in the division. They play Arizona next week. Meanwhile, on to Seattle. So they have, since Tampa beat them in one of the games of the season, right? They have hammered. I know the 2 scores, the first 2, what was it, Jacksonville and Houston. But then the last 2, Washington, and that was over in the first quarter. And this was over in the first quarter. Their defense, look out. This is Ravens-like, where Mike McDonald came from.
I love when a head coach, or when a guy gets a head coaching job and he doesn't go far from his DNA. Mike McDonald's a defensive guy. This has turned into a defensive football team. Their defense is lights out. Most physical team in football, Leonard Williams, DeMarcus Lawrence, they get after your quarterback. They're physical. Witherspoon, Woolen, I love what they do defensively. And Sam Darnold, everyone thought it was a 1-year deal in Minnesota. He's showing you right now he could be in the MVP conversation with Stafford and Taylor. Jackson Smith and Jigba. They make the trade for Rashid Shaheed, so now they got more speed on the outside. They are a team, boom. They haven't played their best football yet. It will be key. I can't wait for the matchup with the Rams because these are going to be 2 physical teams with creative play callers, with defenses. It is going to be a bloodbath when they get on the field next weekend.
You know what a game like this shows? They haven't had the home field advantage the last couple of years. They've won 10 in a row on the road. I think that's the number. They make this place like that?
Yeah.
Be careful.
Yeah.
Rams, Seahawks. Whoever comes out of that division, or all of them, will be impressive. That'll be a fun game. My thing is, they don't ever lose 2 in a row.
Yeah.
That's like having a 28-game winner lose a game, and then we got a 25-game winner coming next. That speaks to what the Lions. I understand, 3 losses. Would they lose 3 last year or 2? I don't even remember. They're still in any conversation.
Very talented team. Notice what Dan Campbell said. I wanted to give the offense a different flavor. A lot of rumblings coming out of Detroit with Johnny Morton, the offensive coordinator. Dan Campbell called plays today. You got Gibbs involved. You got Montgomery involved. You got Jameson Williams involved. Okay, Goff played better. That's not a small thing. We know this team is very talented. Can they get the cohesiveness after you lose your OC and your DC? I think that was the message today. And Dan Campbell said, even if I have to call plays, I'm going to make sure we're in the right position.
Well, and of course, they lost to the Commanders in the playoffs last year. They're sending a message. And Washington may be one of those teams. Every year we go, how are these 14 teams not going to make the playoffs next year? Well, they're probably going to be one of them, despite the fact that they're trying hard. The Bears, 0-2 start, 6-1 since. Caleb, winning games late. Forcing turnovers. Just one today, but I think they had, 20, whatever the number is. We believe in them? Are they contending to Green Bay and Detroit, which is a big ladder to climb for them, Booger?
They are getting close. I don't know if they're there yet, Boom, but they're getting close, and it's because coaching matters. And Ben Johnson is pouring into this quarterback. The quarterback is starting to make plays. We saw that sound in the locker room. He said he's got ice in his veins. All the great ones do. He's not a great one yet, but he's starting to become defensively. They still got to rush the passer better, but the quarterback and the head coach seem to be on the same page, and that's a good thing for Bears fans.
And winning, of course, is contagious.
Yeah.